This is going to be a comprehensive guide on how to turn Aya into Platinum. It's a super easy money making method for players who are earlier on into the game, so let's get right into it. But first, what exactly is this mysterious Aya thing, and why should you care about it? Aya is a resource that's obtained in similar ways to relics. However, it's way different, as it can be instead used to actually purchase other relics for specific items. These specific items are primed warframes and weapons that aren't in the typical rotation, meaning they're particularly rare and hard to obtain normally. This makes Aya a relatively coveted item, and it can be sold for a decent price. Aya can be traded in for relics to acquire the currently unvaulted items by talking to Varzia, who's located at Maru's Bazaar on Mars. While prime warframes are usually unvaulted at around once a month, sometimes there can be extra rare prime warframes or special events that result in more frames being unvaulted. During these time periods, Aya becomes even rarer and more sought after, increasing the price. So, how do you get Aya? There's a variety of different ways to get Aya in the game, and I've done some research to try to figure out what the best way to get Aya is, whether you're new to the game or you're steamrolling Steel Path. I found three main methods to acquire the goods, the main one being bounties, along with missions in the void and relic packs. Since bounties are the biggest way to get Aya, let's talk about those first. There's 5 different factions that have bounties that contain Aya, not counting the Hex, which upon this video's release isn't out yet. I imagine the Hex will have a similar drop rate to the Zeraman and Sanctum Anatomica bounties. So, I went ahead and compiled data from the Warframe wiki on all of the bounties. These odds that I'm going to be displaying to you here are the odds of obtaining at least one Aya from doing a certain tier of bounty. You do, of course, have a chance to get more than one Aya on every single bounty. The Plains of Eidolon had a couple of variations of the bounties that I had to average out the Aya rates for. But overall, they're not very new player friendly for obtaining Aya, as the first bounty doesn't even have a chance for it at all. Otherwise, my research shows that they have pretty great rates for Aya, especially at the higher tier bounties. Orb Valance bounties seem a little bit better on the lower tier end, but the higher level ones have lower rates than the Plains of Eidolon ones. I would still recommend them for newer players though. As for the Cambion Drift, it has very odd rates. At the low end tier 1 and 2 bounties, the chance of getting Aya is super good, but the tier 3 bounty, which is the Endless one, has a surprisingly low chance. The Endless bounty is fairly fast though, so it's hard to say if the rates on Aya are good or bad. The higher tier bounties are very good, but not as good as the Plains of Eidolon ones. Then there's the Zeraman and the Sanctum Anatomica. These are fairly similar, and they both have somewhat bad rates of Aya. I wouldn't recommend them for farming Aya specifically. These are the rates I also expect bounties from the Hex to have. My initial thoughts were that getting Aya was going to be better on the Cambion Drift, but it turns out the higher level bounties on the Plains of Eidolon actually have the best odds. Long story short, the higher level bounty you pick in any location, the higher chance you have of obtaining Aya, and on every single bounty you have a chance to get more than one Aya, but you'll have drastically heightened chances on higher level bounties because of the multiple bounty rewards. None of the normal bounties have Aya drop chances, so I wouldn't recommend it if that's your goal. And hey, if you're finding the video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you check to make sure that you're subscribed. These videos take a lot of effort to make, so it really helps me out. Now, let's talk about missions in the Void. These are super simple. Every single mission in the Void has a 6.67% chance to drop an Aya when you complete it. This isn't a super great rate, but it can often be more flexible and fun to do than the bounties. Capture or exterminate missions are going to be your best bet when trying to get Aya quickly, and since the drop rates remain the same no matter which mission you go to, you can just do the easiest ones. Finally, Relic Packs. I wasn't able to find any specific data on Relic Packs and their drop rates, but based on personal experience, I'm going to assume that they have a similar 6.67% chance to drop. This gives you about an 18.7% chance to get at least one Aya from a Relic Pack, but this may be wrong. There are various ways you can acquire relic packs. Some of them are pretty good and I'd recommend, and some of them not so much. These include syndicates from your orbiter, syndicates that provide bounties as mentioned above, and from Teshin for steel lessons. The only one I'd really recommend is the secondary factions that you can find in your orbiter, as the standing is very easy to obtain. Additionally, I'd also recommend buying relic packs specifically when a new Prime Warframe comes out, so that you're getting a lot of Aya along with some potentially good relics. In conclusion, I found that your best way to acquire Aya if you're a new player is likely going to be capture missions in the Void, as the speed at which you can do them is going to outperform the lower tier bounties. However, once you're able to get up to the tier 2 bounties, the Orb Balance and Cambient Drift have really good drop rates. If you're more of a mid or higher level player, I'd recommend the tier 4 and 5 bounties in any of the open worlds to farm Aya effectively. Players at any level can buy relic packs as well, but I'd especially recommend it for higher level players who already own a lot of the items from their syndicates and who can easily farm standing. And hey, if you need Warframe guidance or you just want somebody to talk about the game with, I highly recommend dropping by my Twitch or YouTube streams. I hang out and play silly games every week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 7 PM EST. Link is in the description. There as well is a link to join the Discord, where we're going to be doing a fashion contest for the upcoming 1999 update, in which you can win hundreds of platinum. The Discord also houses my amazing clan that you can join if you need blueprints or friends. So, once you have the Aya, how do you actually sell it? This is by far the most difficult part. It's very complicated, but I'm going to try to make it simple for you all so that you can make the most platinum as efficiently as possible. There's two main ways of selling Aya, and that is directly selling the relics on Warframe Market or selling Aya through trade chat. First method is selling Aya through Warframe Market. I have a couple of other videos that go a little more in depth about how to actually use Warframe Market, which I'll link in the description. However, I'll explain it briefly here as well. The basic premise of this method is that you'll pick up relics that you're looking to sell by purchasing them with your Aya. You can look up each of the relics on Warframe Market to see which ones are potentially worth the most, but typically Aya relics can sell for 3 to 6 platinum. You'll want to message a buyer on Warframe Market to immediately sell your relic or set up a sell order to make a little bit more platinum. It's a fairly fast method to sell your Aya compared to trade chat, but your potential platinum gains could be lowered. Now, let's talk about how to sell your Aya through trade chat. It's a lot more difficult than the first method, but if you do it right, you could be looking at more potential profits. Before I can explain how you sell Aya using trade chat, I first have to explain a little bit about how trade chat actually works compared to using Warframe Market for trading. Typically, items have a price range that they can sell for in trade chat. In this case, Aya can sell for about 3 to 6 platinum. Keep in mind that prices can increase based on certain factors as mentioned earlier. So, the biggest thing to keep in mind is how much time you want to take to sell your item. If you want to sell the Aya immediately, you can sell them for 3 platinum. If you want to take a little more time finding a buyer who will purchase the Aya for more platinum, you can sell them for as much as you want to. But on a normal day, I wouldn't suggest going above 6 platinum if you want to sell them within like a week. I'd also like to mention that people who buy Aya only want to do full trades, meaning you should sell your Aya in quantities of 6 at a time. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, let's talk about how you can actually utilize trade chat. The first method is by using a strategy that I'm going to call finding buyers. This takes advantage of the filter feature to find people who are interested in buying your Aya. So, if you go to trade chat, you'll see this magnifying glass icon in the top left of the window. If you go ahead and click that, it'll pop up another window. In this window, you can type in the word Aya in brackets like this and click add. This will make it so that only messages that contain the word Aya will be displayed in the chat window. Using this, you can wait until you see a message from someone looking to buy your Aya for a price that you're happy with. They'll typically use the term WTB, which stands for want to buy. Our second strategy is selling the Aya yourself. This means that you post a message into the trade chat and wait for people to message you back saying that they're interested. This is more effective if you have a specific price that you're looking to sell the Aya at. If you're new to trade chat, I'll explain some basic syntax that you need to use. First, you're going to want to type WTS. This stands for want to sell. Next, you'll use brackets around the word Aya, like this, to make it blue. Then, finally, you'll want to set your price for the Aya. You'll use the number 6 to signify that you're selling in quantities of 6. Then, you'll use a colon, then set the price for that quantity of 6. So here, for example, I'm selling 6 Aya for 24 platinum, or 4 each. You can adjust the price based on how long you want to wait for a buyer. Then, just send this message every 2 minutes in the trade chat until you find someone looking to buy from you. Once you actually have somebody who's interested in buying your Aya, since Aya is actually untradeable, you'll want to ask them which relic they're looking for so that you can trade the Aya in for that relic, then trade them that relic for the specified price. And that's it for this video. I hope this guide was helpful, and I appreciate all of you for watching. Drop a comment and let me know if you have any feedback or if I made any errors on the guide. Have a great rest of your day.